Angry guy here. Guys, today I want to talk a little bit about how tech companies are becoming governments and sovereign nations. You might think, what the heck am I talking about? Angry, what are you talking about? So, look at Amazon Prime, look at Twitter, look at YouTube. These companies now have their own culture and they all have their own policies. What is applicable, what is acceptable in the United States, for example, what is constitutionally protected, does not fall under the uh, the guidelines of these platforms. So, for example, speech is something that not is that's regulated, controlled, and determined applicability by these platforms. Amazon, for example, you get Amazon Prime, you get free 2 day shipping, but at the same time, you also become part of that ecosystem. And we're moving towards a place where eventually you'll become a citizen of these platforms, like a citizen of Amazon or a citizen of Google or a citizen of Twitter, or because that's exact, or a citizen of Facebook. Because think about that. And you look at how all of this is coming together and you realize that these questions need to be asked. Because are we dealing with tech platforms anymore, or are we dealing with governments? Okay, because these large tech companies are often larger than the governments in many countries. All right, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, their yearly their yearly gross earnings is typically way higher than many, many, many companies out there. I mean, many countries out there. So there are many countries that don't see the gross domestic profits (GDP) on a yearly basis, compared to these tech companies that make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's a pretty it's a very serious thing, and it's something that we all have to consider because this affects us. It's not clear cut, and we don't we're really entering into a like uncharted waters, untested waters. No one really knows how things are going to go, which direction they're going to go in. But what I can say right now is that we're currently at a place where the government, we're dealing with the essentially the government of these online platforms. I, I honestly do think that we're going to see a lot more regulation coming as a result of this, as a result of what's happening, because you know governments governments don't like to lose out to others. They like to be in charge of their country, they like to be in charge of what's happening, they like to be in charge of the policies, but they no longer control the narrative. Okay, so for example, if Twitter were to decide that they wanted to remove a public official's account whom they believe is not falling in line with their terms of service or their beliefs and guidelines, it raises some it raises some issues. It definitely does. For example, if you remove a public official from Twitter or from Facebook, and people use these platforms to get daily updates on what's happening around us within this country, then all of a sudden you really do have to wonder who is in charge, who's controlling what we see and what we do. And again, if if a platform decides that, oh well, you're not allowed to watch this, you're not allowed to see these ideas, you're not allowed to hear these things, then yet again you ask, are they a is it a tech company or is it a government? Is it a tech company or is it a sovereign nation? Okay, because many of these tech companies today are bigger. Like I said, they are bigger than many, many other countries out there. Their gross earnings yearly is significantly higher than the GDP of numerous countries around the world, and some countries that are doing quite well. I'm being quite honest with you, okay? And they are basically becoming the people that control our world. They control our they control our voices, they control our money, they control they control where we can go, what we can do. For example, as we're moving towards ride sharing, Uber, Lyft, these platforms, you have fewer people that are, buying cars. And as fewer people buying cars, you're going to have, more and more situations where they decide where you can go and where you can't go. So, you get into an Uber one day and you want to go to a specific location and they say no. Okay? They say no. Or you want to shop at a certain place. So, for example, I want to go to I want to go to Walmart, but it costs less to go to Target, even though Target is like 2 miles away. It's like 2 miles away, and Walmart's only like half a mile away. It's still cheaper to go to Target because there's an incentive. There's an agreement between these two large companies. So, where am I going to go? Well, I'm going to say, well, it's cheaper to go to Target, right? They have mostly the same things, so I'm just going to go to Target, save some money, right? At first, it seems okay, but then you have to realize that now they're controlling where you go, where you shop, where you spend your money. Okay? Imagine very soon when you type in an address into your Uber account, when you say, okay, I want to go here, and Uber says, sorry, we don't have any cars going to this location at this time. Sorry, we're not able to take you to this location at this time. However, if you would like to go to a similar location, please check out these suggested results. So we can't take you to McDonald's right now, but we could take you to Burger King, or it's cheaper to go to Burger King, or guess what? There's a special deal happening at Burger King. Okay, yet again, it's a matter of controlling where you go, what you think, what you do, what you say. And again, I'm not talking about the wrongs or rights of any of this. More so, I'm talking about the notion of, are we dealing with tech companies, or are we dealing with governments and sovereign nations? Okay? Are tech companies, are these big tech companies like Apple, like Microsoft, like Google, are they now governments? Because they essentially have their own governments within their organizations. And if you have hundreds of millions of people using these services, like creating content on YouTube and so forth, that have to follow these guidelines, and you have your own form of tribunals and so forth, that's a government. Okay, that's a government. You have a campus that has like 10,000 people on it. You know, you're heading into sovereign nation territory. Okay, where you have your own little world and everything, and this is ours. You have your own flag, and yeah, that's a sovereign nation. That's a sovereign nation. So we have to really be aware of that. That literally have a situation where big tech companies are basically building out sovereign nations in um, in different countries. Okay, and how that applicability will play out, I don't know. I really don't know, but I definitely think that it's pretty interesting watching this. I mean, very soon you'll probably be able to become a citizen of Amazon, probably like, you know, Amazon, happy Amazon citizen. With this Amazon citizenship, you can travel from here to there. Like, I'm so serious, right? Very soon you're going to have something like the Uber passport, where if you want to travel from this place to this place, oh, you have to have your passport. What? Oh no, I have a government passport. No, no, no. You have to have a special passport, a big tech passport. All right, that is where we're at. That's a situation that we're looking at. And again, I'm not going to talk about the wrongs or the rights or the logistics. I'm just basically pointing out that we are now in we're in a whole different ball game. Everything has completely changed. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree that tech companies are becoming governments and sovereign nations? And how do you think this is going to play out in the end? Do you think that it's going to result in companies being regulated more, governments governments taking a stronger hold on social media? Or do you think these companies were just going to continue expanding, getting larger, and growing into their own countries within countries? What do you guys think about this? We'll talk more about it in the comments. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe for more great content like this. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I hope to put out more live streams like this. I'm using some new software which is really nice. It's allowing me to broadcast like super fast now. Anyway, we will talk in the comments. Love God, be good to each other, and cheers.